Imagine you're faced with a simple yet profound dilemma. A single donut sits on the table, and you must choose whether to enjoy it yourself or share it with a group. This scenario isn't just about dessert. It's a reflection of a deeper moral choice between pursuing personal happiness and prioritizing the well-being of others. Throughout history, society has often encouraged us to put the group's needs above our own. But is this always the wisest path? In this section, we'll explore the complexities behind this decision and challenge the conventional wisdom that shapes our sense of right and wrong. By examining the donut dilemma, we open the door to a broader conversation about ethics, happiness, and the values that guide our everyday choices. The principle of the greatest happiness for the greatest number has long captivated thinkers and policymakers alike. Rooted in utilitarian philosophy, this idea suggests that actions and decisions should be guided by their ability to maximize overall well-being. Its appeal lies in its straightforward approach to ethical dilemmas, offering a clear metric for evaluating choices. Over time, this concept has shaped societal norms, influencing laws, public policies, and everyday interactions. By prioritizing collective happiness, communities often strive for solutions that benefit the majority, even when individual interests must be balanced. The enduring influence of this principle can be seen in debates about healthcare, education, and resource allocation. Where the welfare of many is weighed against the needs of the few, utilitarianism is a philosophical theory that seeks to determine what actions are morally right by evaluating their overall consequences. Originating in the late 18th century, this approach was most notably developed by Jeremy Bentham. Bentham envisioned morality as a kind of scientific calculation, where the rightness of an action depends on the balance of pleasure it produces versus the pain it causes. He believed that the best action is the one that results in the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people. This idea marked a significant shift from traditional moral frameworks, emphasizing measurable outcomes over rigid rules or duties. Bentham's utilitarianism laid the foundation for later thinkers and continues to influence ethical debates today. Utilitarian logic, which prioritizes the greatest good for the greatest number, has a profound influence on public policy, healthcare, and corporate strategies. In government, this approach often guides decisions about resource allocation, such as funding for education or infrastructure, aiming to maximize overall societal benefit. Within healthcare, utilitarian principles can determine how treatments are prioritized, especially during crises when resources are limited. Corporations may use utilitarian reasoning to balance profitability with social responsibility, making choices that benefit the majority of stakeholders. This framework becomes especially important in tough group decisions, where leaders must weigh competing interests and potential outcomes. By focusing on collective welfare, utilitarianism helps shape strategies that strive for fairness and efficiency, even when individual sacrifices are required. One significant criticism of utilitarianism is its tendency to justify the oppression of individuals if doing so increases overall happiness. In this framework, the interests of the majority can outweigh the rights of the minority, leading to scenarios where harmful actions are permitted as long as they benefit a larger group. This raises serious ethical concerns, as it opens the door to tyranny and the suppression of dissenting voices. Critics argue that utilitarianism lacks adequate safeguards to protect individual rights, making it vulnerable to abuses of power. The potential for the majority to impose its will on the minority remains a troubling aspect of this moral theory. Imagine a group of friends deciding which movie to watch together. While most are excited about the latest blockbuster, one person quietly prefers a different genre. Instead of voicing their preference, they go along with the majority, believing it's only fair to prioritize the group's happiness over their own. This is an example of moral math in action, where individuals weigh their desires against what they perceive as best for everyone. Over time, such decisions can lead to personal sacrifices, as people consistently put the group's needs ahead of their own enjoyment. These everyday scenarios highlight how moral calculations can shape our choices, sometimes at the expense of individual happiness. When utilitarian principles are applied on a large scale, such as within governments or corporations, the focus on maximizing overall happiness can sometimes overshadow the rights and well-being of individuals. Policies designed to benefit the majority may inadvertently cause harm to minority groups or vulnerable populations. For example, a company might justify layoffs by arguing that the financial health of the business benefits most stakeholders, even though it negatively impacts those who lose their jobs. Similarly, governments may implement public health measures that restrict personal freedoms, claiming it serves the greater good. These scenarios highlight the potential dangers of relying solely on utilitarian calculations, as they can lead to decisions that neglect or violate individual rights in pursuit of collective outcomes. The concept of the tyranny of the majority refers to a situation where the desires or interests of the larger group override the rights and well-being of individuals or minority groups. In such cases, majority rule can become oppressive, disregarding fairness and justice for those who do not share the majority's views. Utilitarianism, which seeks the greatest happiness for the greatest number, does not inherently provide safeguards to protect individuals from this kind of domination. Without explicit protections, the utilitarian approach may justify actions that harm minorities if it benefits the majority. This lack of built-in checks raises concerns about justice and the potential for abuse in societies governed solely by utilitarian principles. The second fatal flaw centers on the challenge of measuring happiness. Unlike physical quantities, happiness is a deeply personal and subjective experience that varies widely from one individual to another. Attempts to assign numerical values to feelings or states of well-being often overlook the complexity and nuance inherent in human emotions. This raises important questions about the validity of surveys, scales, or algorithms that claim to quantify happiness. The very act of trying to measure something so intangible can lead to misleading conclusions and oversimplifications. Ultimately, the impossibility of accurately capturing subjective experiences highlights the limitations of any system that seeks to quantify happiness. Attempting to apply a rigid moral spreadsheet to personal decisions often proves unworkable. Human emotions are unpredictable and rarely fit neatly into predefined categories or calculations. While it may seem logical to weigh every choice against a set of moral criteria, real-life situations are far more nuanced. Feelings such as guilt, empathy, and love can influence our actions in ways that defy simple measurement. The complexity of relationships and individual circumstances means that ethical decisions are seldom black and white. Ultimately, relying solely on systematic moral accounting overlooks the rich, intricate tapestry of human experience. Throughout history, the phrase "for the greater good" has often been invoked by leaders and organizations to justify controversial decisions. While it suggests a focus on collective well-being, this language can be strategically used to conceal motives that primarily benefit those in power. By framing actions as necessary sacrifices, dissenting voices are frequently marginalized or dismissed as obstacles to progress. This manipulation of moral rhetoric creates an environment where questioning authority is discouraged. As a result, genuine concerns and alternative perspectives may be suppressed, allowing self-serving agendas to advance unchecked. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for recognizing when appeals to the greater good are being used as a tool for control rather than genuine collective benefit. Many people believe that happiness is the ultimate goal in life, but this perspective overlooks the depth and complexity of human experience. Often, the most meaningful moments are not those filled with joy, but those shaped by sacrifice, commitment, and a sense of purpose. Acts of selflessness, enduring hardship for a cause, or supporting loved ones during difficult times can bring a profound sense of fulfillment that happiness alone cannot provide. These experiences may not always be comfortable or pleasurable, yet they contribute to a richer, more purposeful existence. By embracing challenges and striving for something greater than ourselves, we discover values and connections that define who we are. In this way, A meaningful life is often built upon moments that transcend the pursuit of happiness. While pleasure is undeniably a part of human experience, it is not the sole motivator behind our actions. People often pursue meaning and purpose, striving for goals that transcend simple enjoyment. Values such as truth, love, and justice play a fundamental role in shaping our decisions and aspirations. Utilitarianism, which emphasizes maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain, tends to overlook these deeper dimensions of human life. Many individuals willingly endure hardship or sacrifice comfort in pursuit of what they believe is right or meaningful. This suggests that our search for fulfillment is rooted in something greater than pleasure alone. Ultimately, the richness of human existence cannot be fully captured by utilitarian principles. Reducing human beings to mere pleasure calculators overlooks the complexity of our motivations, values, and relationships. When a society is driven solely by the pursuit of happiness, it risks neglecting important aspects, such as meaning, responsibility, and personal growth. This narrow focus can lead to superficial fulfillment, where deeper needs and moral considerations are ignored. Furthermore, equating happiness with pleasure may encourage self-centered behavior and undermine social cohesion. The dangers of such an approach become evident when ethical dilemmas are resolved by maximizing pleasure alone, potentially justifying harmful actions. Ultimately, a society that prioritizes happiness above all else may lose sight of what truly makes life worthwhile. At the heart of this story lies a powerful lesson. True justice requires more than simply following the will of the majority. A mature moral framework is essential to safeguard the rights and dignity of every individual, especially those belonging to minority groups. Without such protections, societies risk falling into the trap of majority rule, where the voices and needs of the few are easily overlooked or suppressed. By embracing principles that value fairness, empathy, and respect for all, we create communities where everyone can thrive. This moral framework acts as a shield against injustice, ensuring that progress does not come at the expense of the vulnerable. In any society, the establishment of rights and guardrails serves as a crucial foundation for justice and stability. These principles are designed not only to protect individual freedoms, but also to prevent harm and suffering. Rather than focusing solely on maximizing happiness, it is often more effective to prioritize the reduction of suffering. By ensuring that basic rights are respected and safeguards are in place, societies can create environments where people are less likely to experience hardship or injustice. This approach recognizes that the absence of suffering is a fundamental component of well-being, and that proactive prevention is essential for a fair and compassionate community. As we conclude, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences with group decisions. Consider the choices you've made collectively and how those outcomes have shaped your perspective. We invite you to share your stories and insights, fostering a richer understanding of how groups navigate complex situations. Your engagement not only helps build a thoughtful community, but also guides us in selecting future topics to explore and deconstruct. If there are particular aspects of group dynamics or decision-making you'd like to see discussed, let us know. Together, we can continue to unravel the fascinating ways in which groups influence our lives. Ultimately, happiness is a deeply personal experience, shaped by our unique perspectives and choices. While conventional wisdom often offers guidance, it is important to question and reflect on these ideas rather than accept them blindly. By thinking critically and exploring what truly brings us fulfillment, we can chart our own paths toward genuine happiness. I encourage you to examine your beliefs, challenge assumptions, and discover what resonates most with you. In doing so, you empower yourself to create a life that is authentically joyful and meaningful.